because this was before NF was who NF is today. Like, found out they listened to the song, they loved the song. Next thing I know, NF heard my song and his whole album was that concept of what my song was. I kind of got anxious when they posted the tweet.
So this is gonna be the last question here, because everybody is intentionally trying to have this conversation, of which I get tired of talking about, but yet here we are. So for all of you guys who are trying to poke the bear or stir up the nest here, let's have this conversation. So NF, you had claimed at some point that he, I believe, either took a song of yours or whatever. So what's your relationship with NF, man?
Yeah. Well, man, I thought we were gonna skip out on it, but
I was trying.
I know you were. I seen it. So I moved to Grand Rapids to help plant that church. NF, Tommy Prophet, they're from Grand Rapids.
Yep.
Didn't even know that. I didn't really know much about NF other than that he put out a video and it was dope, bro. Like, I think NF's music is dope. Anyways, so I moved up to Grand Rapids. There's a guy that was at our church and he was like, yo, like, I love your song California. I love this song called Mansions. Like, I want to send it to him. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever. So he sends them Mansions. And they were like, oh, yeah, they love it. Like, he was really close to Tommy. Like, him and Tommy were good friends.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, that's what's up. They're like, oh, yeah, the Tommy loved it. And I was like, cool, man. Like, let's get together. Let's, I would love to just chop it up with them. Like, because this was before NF was who NF is today. Like, his album Mansion is what made him.
Right.
Like, that kind of like set him over. So my song came out. And, I was, found out they listened to the song. They loved the song. Next thing I know, NF comes out with his single and his album called Mansion. I was like, what, bro? I said, okay, this has got to be the biggest coincidence because this is weird because if I wouldn't have moved to Grand Rapids, this wouldn't have been a thing. This would have been okay, this is just a coincidence. Like,
yeah,
I have a song called Mansions. He has an album called Mansion.
Right.
But when they heard my music, and at the time, my Mansions was a very moody, sad. It was like a trap soul type of song. So it resonated with them because that's the type of music NF makes, was dark, sad, and it was like at the time it's a genre called trap soul. I'm not sure how many people know what trap soul is.
Never heard of it. No,
but it's just like it's kind of a moodier, like nighttime riding type of music. CHH still doesn't really do it, and I think that's why sometimes when I make those songs, people like it. But so anyway, so like found out his song was called Mansion, or his album was called Mansion. My album cover was a mansion. His album cover was him standing in front of a mansion, and I was just like, "There's too many coincidences for this to happen." When I seen NF in the mall, it was like, hey, yo, I'm Chase, like just trying to connect with him. Bro wanted to act like he didn't know who I was. And I was like, oh, man, we're going to be like that. First of all, I want to say is I have no ill beef. I don't hate the guy. I don't feel envious. I don't feel jealous. His career is not because of Chase's song called Mansions. Let me get that out. Right. NF is successful because him and Tommy created a sound. They make good music. It has nothing to do with me, so I have no hatred towards the guy. Do I believe 100%? And do I have receipts that they heard my music and they liked the song and it came out before theirs did? Yes. And I think that happens a lot when it comes to music. It's just a thing that happens. People, it makes me feel good because it's like, oh, like you felt inspired. You heard my music. Again, this was Bishop Chase. This is, I'm at the peak about to break it. So I'm making good music because I'm connected with the right people. So I'm here. And so it's like, it's not off that he heard my song and liked it because I was in the prime of my career at this time. Mm-hmm. And so the conversation got brought up because, it had happened. Tommy never wanted to meet with me. And that was the weird stuff. It's like, I know y'all heard my music. I've talked to you guys through my guy, Jake, but it's like, you're not willing to connect, not willing to just like, let's go to lunch. I don't want nothing from you. I don't want to be on the album. I want no money. I don't want nothing. Like I don't expect. I didn't even, like when I posted this, I didn't expect NF to tweet or it's just nothing like that. It's just hey, this happened. Here's a situation. Me and David talked about it because his new song came out, which I think is dope. I'm gonna say it. I like his song. It's dope. But it was just like a conversation that happened because it was like, oh yeah, like he took my concept and made a whole album off of it. And it just, it happens a lot in music. And unfortunately, like that's going back to the relationship piece. It's like, okay, bro, like I love that you were inspired by my art. So it's like, bro, let's just grow together, bro. Like, obviously your mansion and my mansions are completely different on the aspect of what they did. Like, and people were misconstrued. And what was really frustrating is like, I've been waiting to talk about it on an interview because it's like, there's no point in me going back and forth in comments, but it's like, I'm not saying NF heard my song and made another version of my song. NF heard my song and made his whole album was that concept of what my song was. Again, if I wouldn't have moved to Michigan, we wouldn't even be having this conversation because that's the only reason I'm connected to them is I moved to their city. I didn't know they even lived in Grand Rapids. So again, people can say, oh, it's just a big coincidence, but it's like, they reached out to me, so to say. They heard my music. I wasn't like, oh, Tommy and NF live here. Like, let me just do this. So at the end of the day, again, no hate, no nothing. I'm so happy for the guy. Him and Tommy's career, it was beautiful, bro. I love that. Yeah. I love what they're doing, man. It makes me happy that they've impacted people's lives. I do believe and I pray that he's changing to make a message for his music. I think there was a lot of darkness that without a message of hope and a lot of message of I'm depressed. And that's just kind of it. It's like, oh, so like, how do people get out of that? You know what I'm saying? So I think he's getting to that point in his life, which is super cool to see. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is, bro. Like, I mean, it happened almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago at this point. Yeah. It's just a conversation. I'm not looking for anything out of it other than like, it's a conversation that happens. Yeah.
So I'm glad. I mean, I'm glad that you covered a lot of bases, even just all in one there. I could definitely tell that you're not only have been thinking about it, but that you've had to deal with some backlash, from it because I know when. So here's the thing. We at Oxen Brand Music try our best to not be a Christian TMZ, right? It's not that we can't have a space where we have conversations like this. This is good. This is good for you as an artist to be able to communicate further thoughts to than what a 200-some character, tweet can say, and you're not going back and forth and all that. But of course, social media, I get a chance to see that your tweet, got picked up. And sure enough, I'm like, all right, I hate going here, but let me go to the comment sections. Let's see what happens or whatever. And, there's various things that were said, but several were saying, you got to show the receipts. So do you feel like you have to now, or that you should, maybe not that you have to, but now that it is out there, the NF fans, who've come out or whatever against you or against your thoughts, do you feel like it would be proper to show those receipts?
Nah, I don't think it really matters because I got them. Like, my circle's seen them. I have I tweeted this. Why would I jeopardize the progress of my name for some bogus claims? Because again, I'm not looking for nothing out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. To me, I tweeted, I got 60 Twitter followers, 60. So I'm thinking nothing's going to come of this. It's just an interesting story that only my close circles heard. Like, they've only heard it. So think about that. Like, I could have been going at this for 9 years, but this is the first time I've ever done anything for it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, for me, it's like, yeah, I get people want to see it, but it's like, they're going to still, it don't matter what they see, what they hear, what it is. It's like, it doesn't matter. So it's like, it's my story. It's like Swoop in, Hovey's song. Like, he feels like they took the beat from him. People are like, nah, they didn't. And some people are like, yes, they did. And so it was one of those things that God reminded me because I kind of got anxious when they posted the tweet. And I was like, I started laughing to myself. I was like, oh, this is kind of like, sometimes you're in the spotlight and sometimes people are against you or whatever. And it's like, I know my character. I wanted to get on an interview setting to kind of show my heart and to make sure people knew there's no hatred or, ill intent. I don't want nothing from him. I am so happy for his career, but it's like at this point, it just is what it is. It didn't make, it wasn't like this massive headline where it's like I feel the need to, all these people are acting like, okay, if you don't show the receipts, bro, then your career is over. Like they're gonna think you're just full of it. It's like if it got to that point, bro, I'd show the receipts like nobody's business. Because again, it's like I'm not trying to do this just to get views, but it's also like it's just a conversation starter that accidentally got a little further than I thought, which is just that's kind of the case of it. So no, I don't think I need to. If it comes to that, I will. I have them. My friends have seen them. Like they can agree to that. Like they've seen them. And so, yeah, I don't think anything else is going to come from the situation. I mean, this is probably the only time I'll ever talk about it because it's not that big of a deal. Like he stole a concept from me, but oh well, it was 9 years ago. And he's doing his thing. And I want to get to the point where I do my thing. He's not going to make my career and I'm not going to make his career. His fans are very loyal. And hopefully I get fans that are like that stick up for me like that. I love that. Yeah, they came for my neck. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, there's going to be times you say or do something that people are going to not really understand. And you just kind of have to know about be about your business, be confident in who you are. And that's one thing about CHH is we don't lack confidence. If you go on Twitter and you look up CHH dudes, these guys, there's not a lack of nothing. They are saying whatever they want to say. Now, some of it is not wise judgment, but I'm taking, like, I used to just always be against myself. And now I'm my number one fan saying, I know my worth and value. Like back in the day, I wouldn't say nothing because it's like I would be scared of the backlash. But now it's like I'm confident in who I am, what I was, what I did at the time. My music spoke for itself. And it's just a situation where we're going to move forward. And at the end of the day, it's not going to make or break either of ours career. Obviously, like he's got 18 million monthly listeners. He's doing a little bit better than me. So we're going to keep it moving, man. So this is all it is to it.
Yeah. Well, and I think what's wise about not trying to build your career on this topic, right? Because then what would end up happening, and I'm sure it's going to have to kind of fizzle out for a little while anyways for this to not be the case, but you'll have people who will see you as, oh, that's the guy who said this about NF, right? They'll see your name and then they'll immediately put that tweet, side by side, and then it'll be something that will be super hard to shake, can not only hinder its relationships, but it would almost cause you to have to constantly have this conversation over and over. And just like anything else, if you begin to over-explain yourself, it makes you seem more guilty. It makes you seem less authentic to what you just said. You're saying, I don't really want nothing from him, but if this is the conversation that you have every single time you talk to somebody, then it's like, well, okay, you're saying that, but then yet this is all that you're being known for now, right? And so I think there is definitely wisdom, on that part. What would you say to those who, when you're saying, no, I don't want to show receipts, what would you say to those that would say, well, then if you didn't want nothing from it and you're not going to show the receipts, why say anything at all?
Yeah. I mean, it's just a conversation, bro, that needs to happen in our space. I mean, people steal art and they, it's just one of those things, man. Like I went back to the relationship thing. It's like, we're getting, we're feeling the motivation from other people's creativity. And that's great. Like you want to be moved. Like other people's art move me, you know what I'm saying? And it makes me be like, oh, I want to make music like that. I want to make my songs feel like that. And that happens. And it happened, and it did happen to me. And that's just a point. Like, I don't want anything from NF. I don't. What I do want is a platform and space to say, hey, here's someone that has been in the game for 15 years. You don't know me like that, but I've been in the game for 15 years. Nothing's changed. Like we are, as a space, we deal with certain things, and it's a I don't want anything from him. I want to have that conversation because it's a genuine conversation of things need to change. If I like your art or vice versa, we need to stop making it so complicated to work with each other. Like it's not a competitive sport, but we make it like that. Like, okay, me and Cole joke around. Oh, I had the better verse, or I had the better verse, and it's like we're joking, but low key, it's like, okay, I really think I had the better verse, and like he's thinking the same thing because we're just competitive. Like I think most people in this space are like sports people, and so that just kind of comes with it. And it's like we need to be more kingdom minded, more ministry minded. Like I just wish NF would have had the conversations with me. Let me sit down with him. Let's show some love to one another. You don't even have to post me ever, or put me on the song back. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, like people are gonna hate regardless. And one thing God reminded me of is whatever they say about you is not how I feel about you. And
yes,
so
sir.
it's like I have the peace because again, you gotta think about it. As an anxious person, I have to be careful of what I say and do. But I had the peace and I had the confidence to say, this is a story. I don't want anything from it from his camp or anything like that. But I do want a platform like this to say, okay, we can open the conversation for us to talk about things that need to change when it comes to certain things in our space. So, and
That's
people are going to
good.
say whatever. And like after even saying this and like proving my point or sharing what I said, people can still doubt me. And it's like at the end of the day, that's okay. They are entitled to that opinion. And luckily, God's given me the strength and more of a thickness of skin to say that's their opinion. That doesn't affect who I am personally. Or this isn't, people can view me however they want, but my character is my character. And hopefully they see my heart anytime I speak. But yeah, I'm not going to go around having to talk about this situation anytime I do an interview ever again. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to respect the fact that this is the first time I did it and it'll probably be the last time I did it, unless that platform that posted it wants to talk specifically about that. But I told Cole and some of my friends, these will be the only times to talk about it. Because again, yeah, you're right. I don't want to be known as the NF guy. And that's fine. People are going to already remember me as that, but they weren't going to be with me to begin with at that point. So it's okay. But yeah, at the end of the day, it is what it is. We're going to keep it moving and people can hear my heart and they can take it however they want. Hopefully they know that it's all love. And I just hopefully things can change in our space and maybe I can one day be a better and bigger advocate and a voice for that.
Yeah, no, man, that's well said. Yeah, well said to all of that. It's funny with the NF fans, and yeah, they might have came for you, but then with his new song "Hope," there's many of them who showed their true colors immediately, saying, in short, now who can I relate to? Now who can I relate to? And it's like, forget the fact that you've been putting out misery after misery after misery album. I don't like that you're in a better place now. I need you to still stay there, but I want to keep working on myself. Like that's how I saw those comments.
Right. It was confusing because like, all right, you can relate to him because he got out of it and look at him now, like he's out of it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it comes with the territory. And that's one thing I realize is not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to support you. And I cannot overthink that. Or as someone who does have anxiety, it's going to ruin my career. And I'm going to stop making music because of the few people who didn't believe. I mean, I got some DMs of people and it was just like, it was funny because like, okay, thank you, Lord, for giving me the strength to deal with this. Cause I would used to take that personally. Like, oh my God, these people hate me. They hate me. Like I'm the worst person ever. I was a people pleaser. It's like, oh my God, they hate me.
Right.
But now it's like, oh, it's okay. You don't have to agree with me, bro. I'm moving forward and I'm going to keep trying to reach people for God. That's the mission. So that's just the mission. But yeah.
Yeah. That's good, bro. Well said. Well said on all that, man. Honestly, I got no more for that. I mean, same thing. It's not a conversation that I like to have over and over as well. Yes, it kind of gets dropped here and there, of course, right? Because it's just, it's kind of like, when everybody was really big about the whole Christian who's a rapper or rapper who's a Christian conversation, right? Like that went on for so long that I was like, yeah, I'm done. Like I thought we hit every point, every corner of this conversation. Like, I'm done with it. And so, Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that. I think my only concern when it comes to not just NF, but anybody, the Christian culture is always looking for their champion. And it was like that all through Scripture as well. We hit this on a conversation in our past interviews, but for King Saul, the people really wanted a king because they wanted to be like every other nation who had a king. And, guys like, there's no reason to. Fine, you know what? I'm going to give you one. And they had it, felt great, sounded good. But, of course, then it became a whole issue. Again, read your Bible to really know that story. But that's what Christians tend to do all the time. As soon as somebody gets saved, they want them to be the champion. If it's a celebrity, they want them to have the voice or whatever. If, for instance, with NF, seeming to be in a better place immediately, and I will say this would be my only gripe, and I will always continue to have this conversation one way or the other, is I've never been okay with Christian culture pushing any kind of creatives or speakers or anything that don't actually address or gear their content for the Christian space. So, for instance, as a gymnastics coach, it would be really dumb for me to try to get on every platform that is about anything else other than that. Weightlifting, underwater basket weaving, whatever. It would be really dumb for me to always get on all these different platforms and keep speaking to them about gymnastics culture and everything about gymnastics when it's like, but I'm not even speaking to you, right? So it would be really dumb for somebody who is really into cars and they're scrolling and every so often they see my voice and all I'm doing, or they see me and all I'm doing is talking about gymnastics stuff. That would be really dumb, right? It wouldn't make sense. Right. And that is what I feel when it comes to not just NF, but just anybody who is like, okay, cool. I am happy for Nate, the individual, to sound like he is doing better. I don't know where the discipleship is. I don't know nothing else, right? I don't need to know nothing else. I'm not in his circle like that. I'm not there's not for me to know. But what I do want is for all Christians to freaking pump the brakes. And it's like, hey, how about we just pray for whoever it is and allow them to get the discipleship and get their feet, solid ground, right? Get in their word, have that local church, do all of that stuff first before we worry about now we're gonna put him back on our radio stations. We're gonna try to get a tour. We're gonna try to. And it's just like, yo, have y'all not learned nothing from Kanye?
Right. Exactly.
So
yeah. I mean, and the thing too with NF, man, no knock to him, but he did come out and verbally say in an interview he doesn't know if he believes in God, and so it's it's kind of annoying that people put him in the Christian space like that, like you're saying, because it's he don't really want to be it. So it's stop forcing people to be in a box that they don't want to be in, because there's a lot of people that want to be in that box, that live it, they say it, they breathe it, they're about it, they're doing it. Whew. And so yeah, it's just I'm praying for him, man, after hearing that song and seeing the backlash. Yeah, because obviously when I posted this, I was kind of a little bit. And all these people were talking to me. And so I was just kind of seeing stuff about it. And I was like, wow, he needs prayer, because, you put out a song of hope and you got people that are no, we want you to stay back and depressed. And it's I'm praying that he breaks through that, comes back to his roots. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know where he is in life. A lot of us don't. Yeah. But yeah, I'm with you, bro. When we put people in a box that don't want to be there, it's just let them do what they got to do. And let's focus on the people that, want to be where they want to be at.
Hey, if you liked any of this content and you found some value in it, make sure that you subscribe, and of course, share it. Also, if you're interested in some more, go ahead and check out these videos. Till next time, grace and peace. Adios.